mining the ore. And the Romans laughed at them for the type of ore they were using because it was so low in iron content, and didn't think that they were actually going to be able to produce a lot of iron, but in fact they were producing stronger iron than the Romans were.
So describe this site. Like, if you didn't have pictures and you were going to tell somebody about it, what stood out, what was unique about it?
The site's on the top of a very steep hill, very steep terrain, and on the top of that they built a large wall that circled the entire hilltop. I believe the wall itself is about 5 miles in diameter, so it's not a small site. It was a very large site. All the stone that they used, they had to actually drag up that hill, and then of course they had this large settlement there of Celtic peoples in the early settlement period. Later on, they actually had started to adopt Roman life ways, a little bit of Roman religion. And that was one of the main things on the site, was they actually found a small room at the top that had a statue in it, and right next to it was an offering pit with weapons lining it, and in the center of it was, different vases and cups and rings and things that would have been valuable.
Okay, so why was this site important?
This site is basically, it's really rare to find a site that has both the early Celtic populations and then switching over to the Roman. That happened very quickly, and normally you find either a Celtic site or you find a Roman site. Very rarely is it together like that.
Okay, and so is the work continuing on this site, and do you have future plans there?
The work is continuing. They've actually been excavating now. This is the second excavation period they've been doing it for. This is the 3rd year in a row. The original excavations actually took place in 1939, was when they discovered it and decided to excavate it. They have plans to, as long as they can continue getting funding, to continue excavations, but they have to earn their own money to pay for the excavations. So it's very rough for them. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they're only able to work for maybe a month out of the year because that's all they have the money for. But there's a lot to be done there. They've only excavated maybe 15% of the site, so a lot yet to be found there.
And then, so what's involved then with getting funding for something like that?
They do. They rely on the community a lot. The community of Otzenhausen and Nonweiler are very proud of the fact that they have this site, and they help out as much as they can. The actual office that is in charge of the site has a woodworking shop in the back, and they actually build these benches and chairs out of wood and carve the backs of them with Celtic designs and things that they've found at the site, artwork and things, and then they sell those throughout the region, and that funds a lot of their projects. So, and they don't get any assistance from the government. They don't get any assistance from universities unless they have somebody like my friend Alex, who was working on his doctorate. So that gave them a small amount of money, but not very much.